All right, let's keep it moving on the phones. 720. Wanted to bring Mike Ysrael, local businessman, on to talk about his idea reopening the economy. Good morning, Mike.
Hi, Chris. Darn, I thought you were going to call and try and punk me and put me on like a malfunction moment.
I could. We could just start all over if you want.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun, you know. I mean, it's just like clueless person you called. Yeah, happier times. This is nuts. Let's go back in time a little bit, okay? If somebody sells you a car and says it's 500 horsepower and you drive it down the road and it can barely go 5 miles an hour, do you keep driving it praying that eventually you'll get to 500? Or do you bring it back to the dealer, shove it up his rear end and tell him, you're a fraud, you're wrong? Why are we not doing that in this case? 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago, a bunch of guys showed up in the governor's office and scared the hell out of the governor, telling the governor, what, 22,000 are going to be dead in a matter of weeks? And that if you don't immediately respond, we can get it down to, maybe 2,000 or 6,000. I mean, the numbers are crazy. They even have charts out there where they're showing hospitalizations through the roof, okay? Right now, according to their chart, that they just produced only April 3rd. They were talking 20 days ago. So it was accurate to 20 days ago, right? And then from April 3rd, it just has a skyrocketing number going through the roof, all right? So on April 3rd, you know how many COVID cases we had in the hospital? 25. Do you know how many COVID cases we had, like, last week? 5. You know how many cases we had, like, a couple days ago? 2. And as I understand it, we have, like, 1 right now in the hospital and none in ICU. Yet the governor's out there getting ready to build a 150 or 600 room hospital in the freaking ballroom of the Sheraton. Come on, guys. If these charlatans who told us we're going to have 20,000 deaths 6 or 8 weeks ago, they're so far off, why are we still listening to them? And killing our economy with a, 60% unemployment? Over what? Something that has emptied our GMH, filled the GRMC nicely, but empty GMH. Why is nobody asking her, hey, Governor, 6 weeks ago these guys were totally wrong, ruined our economy. Why are you still listening to her?
Well, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I mean, don't beat around the bush, man.
Hey, listen.
Give it to us straight.
I'm old. I'm entering dementia state. You know, I've inherited my dad's lack of filter. So come on, guys, let's stand up and start talking, have a conversation. Where are these experts, and why have their models been so wrong? And yet, the impact they've had are so real.
Well, that's definitely a good point, Mike. And I
mean, you guys we're talking to, you're all employed. And Guam workers, God bless them, they're employed. That's the 40% working right now. But the 60%, the ones who bring money to Guam, we're flat on our backs. Do they seriously think that we can have a Guam economy without tourism? Crickets.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing, right? I mean, tell me they didn't scare the governor with 20,000 deaths, 22,000 deaths, just a couple months ago.
Right.
Where are all these dead? The 5 dead? I mean, every death is a tragedy. But those 5, they had all totally underlying conditions. Any common flu would have knocked most of them over anyway. Why are we killing our economy? Why are we putting everybody unemployed? And if you think you can reopen Guam without tourism, where's the money coming in? Because I know where the money goes out. It goes out for oil to pay for the energy. It goes out for all the food we import because we sure as heck don't grow it anymore. The island has a sucking sound going on right now. We are whistling past our graveyard.
Yeah, I'm curious
Why do you think?
I hear lots of crickets.
Yeah, no, I mean, the governor had come out yesterday and said that, the reason why that first trajectory was so alarming and was kind of doomsday.
She did such a great job. That's what tamped it down. Oh, come on. We're all seeing each other. We're spreading it around. It's a nothing burger.
I mean, yeah, some people feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's thought about it knows it's that way. There's only a handful of people, they all reside at the governor's office, who think that we're on the verge of total meltdown and everybody's going to die. We're going to die all right. We're going to die of starvation when we don't have any money to pay for the food. What's going to happen next few months? You're going to see the island population drop because people cannot sit around here and try to live on government handouts because it just doesn't work. Where do you think the government got the money from? We're going to have the great sucking sound. First, it's going to be the money, then it's going to be the people.
Mike, has anyone approached you about being a part of this economic recovery?
Well, definitely not after today, but yeah. Have you been in any kind of conversations? I know GVB has a task force,
right?
But have you been in any sort of dialogue?
Did anybody ask you, hey, what do you guys think?
Absolutely not. The thing is, there's certain styles of leadership. One style of leadership, which I like to think I'm part of, is that when I form a task force, I want it with people who are my biggest critics because they're going to bring in the points I might be missing.
Right.
There are others who have a leadership style more along the line of, if I don't like what you're saying, I shut you off. So those task force are totally worthless because they're scared. Yeah, I talked to members of it. They all agree. I mean, you can't deny what I'm saying. Nobody's got on the air. I mean, come on, Dr. Cabrera, Dr. Cruz, the other villain in this case, Than Hancock. Yeah, running around. Oh, I'm from the CDC, using up these fake models produced by the Bill Gates group that have been scaring America. Remember America? We're supposed to have 22 million dead. No, what was it? 2.2 million dead. Now we're down to 47,000 dead, which is a bad number. But that's only because they're faking the data now. They're so desperate, they're looking for problems now because none of their models have come out. They're reclassifying people who would have died, expired from other causes, reclassifying them all into COVID, desperately trying to get to the 60,000, which they're even struggling to get to. Their models are frauds. Their models are fake. They're all based on wrong assumptions. When I was in high school, I used a computer program. Garbage in, garbage out. It all depends on I love these models. I've seen them. I've gone to the website. They'll predict to the half death how many people in your community are going to die. Mm-hmm. Seriously? What are they based on? And I know the math. I know how the math works. I know what exponential growth is. But that's not how humans work. Sure, I could go out and infect someone in 13 people in one day. But guess what? I see the same people every day. I don't go out and meet a new set of 13 people every single day. That's what the model's based on. And all those people I infected, they will also go out and find 13 unique people that they have not met before. And then it's impossible. According to the regression model, the entire island should have been infected within a few days. Now, by the way, I do believe this infection is a very, very contagious infection. And if you have a good, strong, healthy immune system, you have absolutely no worries. Every single one of the deaths, almost all of them, a minor part, they haven't been able to find a comorbidity, but all of them have comorbidity. That means they had other issues. You notice in Guam, we're never going to see another lung cancer case again because you're going to die of COVID, not lung cancer. The fact that you smoked 4 packs a day for the last 60 years, we're going to forget about that. You caught the flu the last couple of days of your life, and now we're going to classify you as a COVID death. This is getting crazy. Fauci and those guys, they blew it. Just admit it. Walk away. Let us recover. We are going to carry a heavy burden, as it is. If we reopen today, we still are going to carry a heavy financial burden for at least another generation. Mm-hmm. Hawaii, the state of Hawaii, you know what they did, right? Hello?
Go ahead, yeah.
State of Hawaii. Liberal, Democrat, just as extreme as our governor. She herself knows they're in big trouble. They have slashed all government wages by 20%.
Yeah.
Why? Because she knows there's no money. She's not relying on the federal government to show up. And believe me, she's got a better case than we do. She's a state. We don't even pay into the federal government. And wait, the governor's writing checks that we can't even begin to afford, even if we open up now. So we've got to get open, and it's still going to have a heavy economic burden we're going to carry. You have to pay for your mistakes. We made a giant mistake 8 weeks ago. Let's stop it now.
If you were on the governor's economic recovery panel of advisors, what advice would you give her?
Okay, we're already paying for the Guam workers. Let's have them open today. Okay? Let's see how many people fill the hospital with bad cases of COVID. We got 250 beds and more sitting around empty. The whole point of the slowdown, because, see, no one really believes you can stop it. It's impossible. Okay? But the whole point of the flattening of the curve was to fit the number of cases that to the capacity that you have. They call it peak capacity. The United States passed it a couple of weeks ago. We are thinking we're going to hit it out in September and October of this year. I mean, we're the only people thinking like that. The reason why September and October is hysterical, that's when the flu season for the next year starts. In Guam, we don't have a flu season because we're hot all year round. See what I mean? We're using numbers and statistics from places that don't apply to Guam. A lot of the numbers she's using today were the very first numbers when we had a hot spot in Italy. And if everybody in Guam was over the age of 80 and we lived in freezing homes with poor heat and with no care available because they have socialized medicine. I mean, if you get sick there, you're on your own. There is no medical system in Italy. Maybe we might see the numbers that they're reporting. But we're not 80 years old. We're not living in a freezing country, and we have a place with 3 hospitals for 170,000 people. So I would open up one group of people, Guam. Okay, let's start with them first because we're paying for them anyway. There's no economic cost to opening up there. Let's see. If we start filling up hospital beds, then we should stop. We're a very small island. I want to say country. I mean, but at the rate we're going, we're always going to be subservient to Big Uncle because we can't seem to support ourselves economically. But let's call ourselves an island. We're a small island. We're very nimble. We can turn it on, turn it off real fast. And so we start filling up the Guam offices. People can start filing taxes or whatever, getting health certificates. I can't even open my restaurants because my health certificates are expiring. And my employees can't go and get a health certificate because nobody's open. Doesn't matter. They don't have a job now anyway. And so that's a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what happens. The next day, okay, let's open up some of the local businesses. That's next week. Remember, this is a very, very, very fast-moving contagion. If there is really a problem, we're going to see it right away, and then we can close right away.
But they haven't had the ability to do the mass testing, so they're not unable to determine just how widespread COVID is on Guam.
All right, there's a couple things we got to keep in mind. First off, the current existing test, and the governor is absolutely not using what we can get easily, but waiting for the unicorn of tests to come. That was silly. But we have what we have. At best, the test is only good if you have active corona at that moment they test you. Okay? So that means that maybe as you walked up to the test station and someone coughed on you with corona, you have it, but you don't have enough in you for it to be detected. Or you have corona, but your body system has beat it down so much that again tests negative. The false negatives on the test are through the roof. Because remember, the test, you need to have so much active COVID in your body to test. Okay? So the test is pretty much worthless. But a lot of people want to test. God bless them. Test all you want. Testing doesn't end you in the hospital. Believe me, when you feel bad enough, you feel bad enough, then that's when we have to intervene. Feed you some of the Trump pills. We have now that's another thing that's changed in the last 8 weeks. We now have things that we can do. Before we had COVID, I was like, oh, well, go home, take a Tylenol, drink lots of fluids. That's what I did when I caught it back in January. Oh, yeah, right. Guam had COVID ever since January, possibly December. Remember, we're in Asia, okay? It took a while to hit America because it had to go through Europe and then jump into America. Us, we're directly, Korea and Japan, lots of contacts with Japan. They got it first. And believe me, we got it first also. We had COVID, we didn't even know it. Come on, how many, and you're telling me malfunction and that you didn't get ill, you didn't get kind of like bad flu between January and March?
Nope.
I did.
Oh.
I take my vitamins.
I did. My son did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and yeah, exactly. I came back from a trip early January, walked into my office. I looked at my manager. I said, wow, man, you look like hell. He goes, yeah, there's this flu that's cutting through the office really fast. And sure enough, the next night, I said, honey, I feel a little little sniffles in the nose and the dry cough. My bones ache. That was the one. My bones ache, So I crawled into bed, drank lots of juice. She fed me tons of vitamin C and multivitamin pills, and I rested, let my body build its immune system and clobber it. Right. That's how you solve it. You solve it by getting people infected so they develop an immune system. We cannot live in a bubble the rest of our life. Okay. And that's what they think we're going to do. We're going to live in this bubble. We're going to protect ourselves. I mean, the Theodore Roosevelt, the other day I read they after they quarantined these guys for 14 days, after they tested negative, 3-4 weeks later, they're all coming out positive. It's a wild virus. It's in the wild. I mean, we're just delusional. And so the real question is not whether you have COVID or not. The question is whether we have so many cases that are bad, it overwhelms our ability to deal with them. Right now, we have a 250-room hospital. So less than 250, but that combined with the SMU, sitting empty. We have the military who's committed to us that, hey, you guys get in trouble, don't worry, we've got capacities on our side as well. Now's the time to be doing it while those capacities are still here. They've got like a ton of military personnel sitting on base. Now's the time we need to test, basically. The real test is get out and mingle, and let's see how many get sick. If it starts to grow, that's why we do it gradually. We start with Guam first. Then we start with all businesses on Guam except, say, restaurants and other places of congregation, such as theaters, movie theaters and stuff. Again, wait a week, wait 10 days if you want. And then you go to the last phase, totally open. Because remember, even after we're open, we're still not going to have business for a while because we need to prove to Korea and Japan that we've got our COVID situation under control. Because they also have quarantine as well.
Okay, Mike, we actually have Dr. Cabrera calling it, so we want to kind of run some of the points that you brought up. So I appreciate it. Definitely a lot of...
Thanks for that perspective.
But no, before Dr. Cabrera talks, I'd like to make one statement.
Sure.
I apologize to Dr. Cabrera. I had received some wrong information, or I misunderstood the information receiving. I referred to him not as not a real doctor. He, in fact, is a very eminent doctor, Yale and other school graduate. In fact, he's even board certified in the area that he is practicing internal medicine. I apologize for that misstatement the other day on the another radio show.
Okay. Got it. Thanks, Mike. Hey, call it anytime, man.
Oh, okay. So hang up there.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
And let us know if you get a call from the governor's economic recovery thing.
No, that's never going to happen. All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right,
I'll give her his number. Let's just keep going here. Dr. Cabrera, let's bring you on here.